So what I'm trying to do is obviously just manage the position here in real time. Have extreme size here. For sizes like this, you want to set a stop loss. So how you protect it is you can literally just go in here, protect it, put a stop loss for break even. I'm trying to manage this to where I'm like, do I need to like cut? Do I need to like trim? I want to scalp. So this is like a pro way how to scalp. So literally, like one of the best things you can do sometimes is literally just press that scalp button. Excuse me, press that trim button on your contracts here. So 742 calls are on the money. So right here we're on the money. I need that continued movement here. Looking at Soxo here to see if we can get some kind of understanding if we're going to break out here. This is a control bar here. It's kind of like weirding me out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just trim 25 of these contracts here. Just get out of these. So I just trimmed. It's not trimming for some reason. So now it trimmed, of course. And what I'm going to do here too is I'm going to go ahead and just grab some puts that might offset some of these longs here. So I have my calls now, my puts here. So I'm already up a little bit for the day. So now I'm using my profits as a trailing drawdown here. So you see how in real time, me instead of just staring at the chart, wondering what the fuck is going on, it's just I got involved, right? I'm looking here at Soxo. It looks like we have a control bar right here. Control bar literally means, is kind of what it sounds like. It's controlling price. Until price breaks this particular bar here, we're going to possibly go up here just to rise down here. So I have calls, I have puts. I have 25 calls to 25 puts. Yeah. So now we're just chilling. Now we're waiting here. 742 calls here. Should pay out pretty well. I'm trying to sell into this. So obviously right here, I'm going to be paying attention to this a lot. If you can't break this level here, then it's no bueno. So that's a control bar here. Looking to see if we're going to break out of here. You do have a bullish channel up here. And this is a level really don't want to break here. Looks like your base. So you initially undercut here, kind of breaking out. You're just kind of bar coding here at the top. But that's also why I have puts up here as well. So right here, if Salsa can just push past and screen passes, you're going to see a big pump up here from SPY. But this does look like a rising 3 here, so just kind of rising up, rising up, rising up. If you can't break this peak here, we're going to drop down. Obviously, if you break this peak, typically you're going to squeeze up here. Since that's a big zone, you do see bull flag here on QQQ, and you do see that breakthrough here on Soxo, but don't be mistaken. You can still scream up past it just a little bit just to drop down here. So that is one thing that I'm paying attention to. So looking for a rising 3 here, possibly bearish, but we do have calls, we do have puts here. They're offsetting each other. It's 8:46 a.m. If you just start barcoding, then you're going to be screwed here. So right here, again, I still think that despite you having kind of what looks like a massive bull flag here, I still think you can drop and, you know, break back down. We're going to have to look at Sox hole to kind of determine what that's going to do. And that's what I've been looking at lately, just Soxo. I'm like, Soxo going up, market's going to go up, but it's not just as easy as that. I'm looking at multiple charts here, such as these 3 charts here. So you'll see these positions, they're going in and money, out of money, in and money, out of money, right? In, out. It's kind of showing you, and it looks like you might get this reversal here. So SPY's starting to lead the way here. The NASDAQ is trying to break out these highs. This looks like a squeeze zone right here. So if you can get into this zone here, you'll most likely, if not, just squeeze past it. Our NQ levels overnight hit up about a 200 point-ish call out. I think it's closer to 300, but it doesn't matter. So, you know, since I'm sharing my entire screen, you can see like what I'm doing here fully. So you can see what I have open. So there should kind of be like no confusion. Because you can see my positions rapidly moving up, down, up, down. This is how a strangle works. Strangles are where you buy an opposite position. So I have 742 calls on the money. The delta acts differently. The delta is this on the contract. So you have delta, right? You have IV. You have your bid ask, and then you have your volume here. Volume, I don't really, I guess, care too much about. I just care more about open interest sometimes. Volume to me is just people exiting, entering contracts, no different for me. But right here, right? At a certain point, one position will just completely get smoked. So the further away you get from the contracts, so let's say I have a 742 call, right? The further I get away from 742, right, the delta will affect this, and so will the theta. It's not moving in my direction, right? So you can still see here, this is still a control bar, right? So until you break and kind of close above that, it's not great. Um, Although you are kind of bullish here, you can still chop and consolidate. I mean, that's what you've been doing here. You've been chopping, consolidating right here. So for 13 minutes, you've been consolidating. And here's your volume for this 13 minutes. I'm going to take a look at some other sectors here. We have Soxo going up. We have SanDisk going up. Looks kind of bearish, actually. Where's Micron? So this looks kind of bearish. QQQ puts actually might pay here. It might be a better pair. Too early to tell. But patience is the game right now. So control bar is here. This is where I want to put my fibs. So if we can't stay above 250.61, I think we're going to head down. So if we're going to head down, QQQ put would probably be a good pair with my SPY put. SPY just moves so ever slow. Like QQQ's up like how much today? QQQ's up like, I think 0.65. So you can kind of see it here, so I'll just show you. So SPY's up 0.15, QQQ's up 0.52. It's just slow. It don't move. So what I'll end up doing here is if QQQ ends up dropping, which it looks like it's going to, you can definitely come back down here on Soxel. Double bottom here. It looks like you're double bottoming here, creating some double janky bottom. Just 100 ticks here. Gonna see if these contracts are moving at all. You actually need like actual movement. That's a problem here. There's like no actual movement. So the puts are getting fried here. So I'm gonna add more into these calls. So I'll get like maybe I'll just add 10 more to make it worthwhile. These SPY calls here. Gonna wait a few more. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I don't need to add any SPY calls. So SPY calls are printing now. They're deep in the money. Awesome. Congratulations if you got them. We did call it out ahead of time. So that slight hesitation you saw from just looking at the chart, that results in you not getting those 10 contracts that you could have. That would have been the difference of kind of like 1600, 1700, and so forth. You should always want protection, but like what kind of protection is it that you're trying to get? What protection is it that you want, right? So calls are up here. Gonna go ahead and add just 10 more here. 10 more calls here. Or I guess 20. So I'm gonna add 20 calls here to my existing set here. Looking now for this breakout. We have a breakout from Soxel. Here's your base. Now you're just gonna rip past it. Don't really have any upper extension levels here. Just gonna watch it here in real time. So okay. So SPY calls are printing. So I'm gonna cut my puts here. I'm gonna play naked a little bit, and I'm just gonna play with these profits here. Looking for 30,335. You're riding your call wall right here. So 300 is your call wall. Looking to see if you can just gap up just a bit more here, even with SPY. I'm up 2,655. So Looking to maybe trim, get out of these just in case if we do go a bit sideways here. So you have a falling 3 here. So far, it's bullish, and my contracts aren't cutting. I don't know why. So right here, 743. Here's your base here. You're hugging your 55 EMA here. I will grab some QQQ puts as a hedge to my SPY puts. So I'm just going to grab like 5. So I'll grab 5 of my QQQ puts. I don't care if these go worthless. One or two things is going to happen. QQQ is going to come back down here to, you know, kind of maybe like a lower range of like 0.54 in the day. And then, you know, obviously if that happens, then SPY will go up. But I think I kind of like this setup here. About 1,500 to about 2,300 here in SPY. Again, I don't care if these go worthless. I want these to kind of go deeper in the money here. You do have a bull flag here in SPY. Again, these are just a hedge. This is just a bit of protection here in case of what? All right, we go down a little bit because that's just being a little bit responsible. So if you grab SPY calls a decent amount, you would have been up. We called them out down here, right? Then we just came up here. So the reason, no different from how people don't want to pay Discord, it's the reason why people are just struggling with trades. You have no conviction. You're just staring. You're waiting. Should I sign up today? Should I sign up today? Well, should I get the contract? Should I get the contract? Should I get the contract? And it's like, well, damn, we just took off. So then when you hop in on the back end of a trade, you're like, well, damn, these guys are doing well. You just got to step up and do something. Doing nothing, like people, the only people who don't do well are the people who don't try. So you got to try. You got to do something, guys. So right here, SPY's continue to push up here. Notice how my QQQ contracts haven't taken that much of a beating here. So because SPY's ripping up just a bit more, going to add just 5 more contracts here to offset these QQQs in case if we continue to go up here. Does look like we have that. We do have a very bullish candle here. My full price target extension for the day, end of day, is 745. Will we get it? I don't know. We could just collapse right here, you know, before our very eyes. Contracts are up $1,800 though. That's with trimming a couple of times here. Obviously, at any point in time, these can just go back to zero. If you're on stream, my goals are different from yours, so you should, you know, obviously, I don't know, do what you will with that information, but just kind of be smart with it as well. So there's no reason why, if you're on stream, why you should be struggling. There's no reason if you're up on my stream to why you should be doing a whole bunch of things. That's why I didn't stream yesterday. And so continuing moving forward, you know, if I have 50 people on stream that are talking about they want to stream, I want to see 50 screenshots of people sharing their trades. I shouldn't be the only one every day, guys, just, you know, looking like I'm making video game money. If I'm hopping here on stream and it's been less than, you know, 30 minutes and I just gave you a banger replay, I need to see that reciprocation, right? If you ain't gonna pay, I need people to know this shit's legit. Because I'm not streaming here for fun. This is my business. I got this shit tattooed on my hand, right? So if you see me with conviction, right, playing, either one or two things. I'm just gambling, or like I'm trying to make money every day, right? So right here, you see these contracts fluctuating up, right? You see that we're jumping around from like kind of the $2,500 to $2,000 range back down to kind of 1,600. So, you know, that's just something to be cognizant of. You might come back down here. You might even undercut here. So maybe just grab, I'll grab like 3 more contracts here. And my goal is, as this goes down here, like if this goes back to 0, right, this better be at 1,500 is my point, right? So the higher, the more the trade goes on, or the longer the trade goes on for, what am I looking for, right? I want to keep my winners and cut my losers. Right now I have a winner. I don't really have a loser. I cut a couple of my losers earlier, right? So I cut the 741 puts. I do have the 727 puts here for QQQ. I think that's pretty reasonable for QQQ to come back down to whatever it's called. So and you could roll over right here on QQQ, unless if you just break out right here. So you have a base here, you're on 100 ticks. Maybe I'll just go to like a 5-minute time frame here. So QQQ, I mean, or excuse me, the NASDAQ. I mean, here's my levels here. Nothing really bearish at the moment. It's just I want to be careful. Looks like IV is supporting our contracts here because we're just barcoding. Normally this would be like minus 500, and this would be about 1,000 with like lack of movement because we're not moving. Right, we're just kind of coming down here. Looks like you have a falling wedge here on SPY, but you did break down here. So right here, you might be able to break up out of this wedge, which it looks like you're doing. Down, up, kind of like a falling 3 here. Gonna add maybe 5 more contracts here. So every time you kind of drop or kind of go up, you can kind of see these contracts, they lose a little bit of value here. And this looks like a beautiful bull flag again. My full on price target for today is 745. Are we gonna get it? Don't know. We're gonna try to manage it here in real time. And I'm gonna try to be off of the stream in the next like 15 minutes. That way everyone who's on time can just get their money and go and do whatever the hell they want to do. So we're pushing up. Excellent, excellent. We're over 2,000 here. You'll obviously notice that we're losing more money here. So looking for a big push up here. Continuing to push. 743. Calls are up 2,100-ish. Right? So we have about a 1,700 point spread. Look at that, guys. Look at that. We're just ripping here. Beautiful. Double top rejection here, tweezer top here, so that's not great. So we just lost $500 on that. I saw that. We're gonna have to buy that up pretty quickly here to, for these contracts to continue to rise up here. So again, looking at Soxel here, looking at QQQ, SPY, not liking what I'm seeing from SPY here. Gonna probably come back down here. So contracts seem to be rising though, despite dropping a bit here. So it's probably just IV. I don't have it pulled up, but most likely, more than not, that's just IV. So yeah, this looks bearish right here. So when you're on stream too, right? I just lost like $800 from here. But that's also why you have kind of a that's also why you have a kind of hedge here. Obviously, if you continue to come down here on the NASDAQ, these contracts should pick up what I lose here. So gonna go ahead and add like 3 more or 4 more contracts here. This looks like a base here on SPY. So now you can kind of see like how I'm like managing a position here in real time, right? How do I manage position when it's starting to go red, or how to prevent a situation from going completely red, right? So from a logical perspective, right, I gave up $2,000 here. Oh, now I'm up $2,000 again? That was weird. That must be an error because there's no way. You have dark cloud cover here on the 15-second time frame. So this is literally called dark cloud cover. It's a bearish pattern. You have this engulfing candle over this green candle right here. That's a dark cloud cover. Now we're looking for a fibs to the downside here. Where's our 50% line? 50% line 742. What you might do is undercut right here, undercut, then like rip. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a few more here. And look at that, undercut and rip literally just right as I said that here. So that doesn't mean you're out of the woods here. This is a simple concept here. So undercut, rip. We didn't even come back to our 50% line. We held our 0.362 line. So I went ahead and added a few more contracts here. Again, I just don't want to lose this momentum and lose this smoke here. So here's your kind of squeeze zone right here on top of SPY market. This is literally your squeeze zone. If you're gonna squeeze, it's literally gonna be right in here. So far you're tapping it here, and now we're back up $2,800 from not panicking. So what you can do right here is, because my spread is now up $336, I do want to get to the squeeze zone here. I do want to rip past it just a bit here. So let's see here. Contracts are now up 3,000 again. Excellent. Oh. So got to get my screenshots in there so I can post it and brag. So right here up. Really want to. I'm being a little bit greedy here, so I'm gonna go ahead and so we're up about 2,900 here. Contracts are 284. I want to have a fill limit for 30 of them, 35 of them. Oh, whoa, what just happened? Okay, here we go. Look at that push, guys. Look at that push. Look at that push. So 3,800 here. Gonna trim a majority of them. So just trimmed a majority of them for 4,000 here. Whoa, I didn't want to open that up. I did not mean to do that. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and close these. I'm gonna go ahead and close these contracts here. Okay. And now I have these contracts here, okay? So I just have 7 runners left. Here's my trades from the day. Okay. My trades from the day. So today's the 30th, so I'm not sure why it doesn't have my SPY calls. What about my open ones? My SPY calls should be up, yeah, 4,600. So that's what we got going on here. So pretty big day so far. It's been less than 30 minutes and I'm like practically done. Up 50% of these cons here, right? That's just how you do it. So if that was just you hopping on stream, I'd encourage you to hop on time when you're supposed to, because then you're just gonna miss these plays here. You're not gonna hear me talking, and then you could be the person, if you're not, right, that's messaging me, hey, like, what did I miss? You know, I'm like, you missed everything, dude. You're late. I keep telling you to come on time. So it's not always the case, right? And then you get the guy that hops off and I just call him out. So yeah, but you guys need to hop on time. So as you can see, right, why do I not want to stream all day? Because right here in 30 minutes, I just gave you guys an easy textbook, and right, I'm sure my entire screen you guys can see. I'm giving you a clear textbook setup here to how you can make money every day. Okay. And I don't like streaming when people don't like my YouTube videos. I don't like streaming when people don't participate in my chat. I don't like streaming when people just think about themselves. Okay. I don't like that. Okay. I don't like people that just show up when, right, I hop on stream and then they're nowhere to be found until I hop on the next stream. That's not really how I want to operate. So, you know, it's like every day I'll have to do like some kind of poll to see like who's active or not. And I don't know, maybe I'll just reward the people who are active and maybe just give them like a secret link to the live, because I don't think everybody's privy to this information and I don't think everybody deserves it. One of my good friends the other day said something about paywalls. There is a paywall. This is a business. This is my business, right? I'm not going to just give you $500 every day for free, right? That's what I've been doing for several months. But then why did I stop? Because nobody was even talking. Okay? So if you were to go up to a random person on the street and said, hey man, do you think this is, like, they would say you're crazy, right? They would say you're crazy because it's like, why are you... So I'm going to protect this position here. So I'll go ahead and get some QQQ puts. You have kind of an evening star here. This does look like a bottom, but you can come all the way down here and kind of close the gap at 30,197 here. Yeah, I'm looking at Soxel. I don't know what Soxel is up to now. Looks like we're trying to form some flags of some sort. You can come all the way down here to 256. You can come down to 256, form like a falling 3. You can even crack, undercut. You can even undercut, rip up again. There's a whole bunch of things you can do. There's no point of really talking about them. It's just, I guess if you're new, it kind of helps understand what I'm looking at. So I don't really want to crack, you know, I guess 258.14. I'm going to hold a base above that and then kind of just, you see just a breakout here. This is a flag at the moment, a bull flag. Bull flags do what? They rip up. So this is what I'm looking for on the Soxel here. Doesn't mean we're going to get it. We can literally just roll over here. But what I'm looking at is a bull flag currently. I really want to hold above 258.14 in order for that to be valid in my opinion. So far we're getting that. Let's see if we get some fall through with SPY here. SPY has like a bearish falling 3 here. Looks like it's going to head on down. So if I'm saying that, right, what does that mean? You should probably protect your positions, right? So look at that, right? So that's just understanding structure, knowing when to get out and what to do with your positions, right? So right here, it looks like this bull flag is struggling to keep up here. You do have an evening star here on QQQ, Maybe I'll get active. So let's see why my position's up. I'm up $400 on this. Maybe I'll take some QQQ puts here. QQQ is at 731. Looking for a quick scalp here on QQQ. Holy shit, these puts are expensive. Jesus. So far now, right, I'm just watching this chart here before making any rash decisions. We still have this bull flag. It's still holding this 258.14 level. You're seeing a breakout here. SPY does have a falling 3. This is bearish right here. It's a falling 3. It's a rising 3 here, like this. We need to break out of 743.90 here. We need to like break out of here in order for this bear flag to be invalidated. Otherwise, you're going to see this probably come on down here, along with SOX will coming on down here as well. So, gonna clean these lines off here again. So here you have your bull flag here. Looking for this. I don't want to break this. If we break this, this falling 3 is going to come to fruition, which means it's going to come true. So if you can't hold above 258.14, you're going to head on down here. This is a weak Morningstar breakout. Here's your doji. Here's your bullish engulfing candle, or what was supposed to be that. But now you kind of see your breakdown from SPY, as I mentioned it here in real time. That's understanding structure and knowing it to a T. I was trying to grab those 731 puts, but I got distracted here. So these puts are really expensive. What's the IV on them? The IV is 30%, a little bit crazy. So that would explain why contracts are kind of picking up here. You see a bit of divergence here from SPY. So kind of gonna go here, look at the kind of tick volume here on the NASDAQ here to see what's going on here. Okay, you have like a reversal here. So you see you have a rising 3 here, kind of rejection, kind of a rising 3 here, kind of rejection here. What line? You're at your 50% line here. So if you can't get above 327 here, I'm going to go short here. Going to go short here on QQQ. Kind of have like a falling wedge. It's not perfect, but if you just draw a trend line through it, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Here's your trend line here. And again, if you can't break above this level here that I have drawn out, going to go short here. So looking at 735 puts here, or 729 puts for QQQ. But I'm going to wait. I need confirmation. And I'm using QQQ as a pair to SPY since it moves faster. So far, we're just barcoding here. Looks like a falling wedge, a weird kind of flag here to break out. You broke out exactly where you drew my trend line. Imagine that. So that's why you want to wait for confirmation, not just hopping into puts. That's the difference of you just being down $500 on a position and then me being up. We are breaking out. You're trying to form an inverse here. So you can see on the chart here, you have a bullish engulfing candle here as well. Look at this bullish engulfing candle. Here's Soxel. That's a engulfing candle. This is a morning star. I need to see follow through. If I can hold 258.41, going to be bullish here. And obviously you can see this bull flag here forming here as well on the NASDAQ right here. Going to mark it. That's a flag here. Really don't want to break that level. We have a double bottom right here as well. Again, bullish engulfing candle here as well. Bullish engulfing kind of sequence here as well. That's actually a bullish pennant right here on SPY. So just draw your kind of flag right here. Not perfect, but that's kind of what it is. Same concept, just draw a trend through it. Not perfect. You can obviously break down. I'm above my 50% line. It can still come back down here and double bottom here. So, you know, and these contracts aren't moving at all, which is obnoxious. So the QQQ puts aren't moving here. So maybe I'll just grab 5 of them here. You have a falling 3 reversal here. So just grab 5 of these puts here, I believe. I should have at least. And now we're just kind of playing with house money. Just in case, as a slight hedge to our SPY calls here. What I have 1400 to 1500 here, so I think a good kind of setup here. So I have 1400 in calls that were already up, and then I have my QQQ puts here as well. Okay, so obviously some people would just watch their position go down, like, dude, I lost money. I'm like, why didn't you grab a hedge? Why? You have a bull flag here in QQQ as well. Look at that. You have a bull flag here. I don't want to break this level here. You do have an EMA cross, so you do have 55 institutional support here. Obviously, it's a 15-second time frame. Do what you will with that information. Obviously, more time frames are different. Look at that pattern here again. Same kind of concept here. Are you going to break out? You're going to break down here. Here's your trend. Here's your break. These are levels I want to hold here. So I want to hold this level here, 258.41 here. And then I want to add maybe about 5 more contracts here in SPY. Or 10 more contracts here in SPY. Looking for some follow through here. These candles will be at the tell all here. I'm trying to catch it before SPY just rips up here. So we're going to go ahead and add right here prematurely 10 contracts here. A little bit oversized, so I have 17 contracts. So I have about like 4,000 to kind of like 1,500. QQQ is up. QQQ is up 1.01%. So it's up 1% of the day. You have a double bottom here on SPY. You have an inverse head and shoulders. You might get your arm extension all the way back up here and break your base. So here's your left, right, here's your right, here's your head. Now you're going to get like an arm extension, looking for like just a rising rip up here. You obviously need to break up here, 743.65. You need to break these highs before the woods. You have a smaller inverse here. Look at that. Head, left, right. Here's your larger inverse, left, head, right. See how that works? And again, looking for some continuation here to the upside. I have my QQQ puts again as a hedge. Grab some more SPY calls here. For possible breakout here further to the upside. Again, my overall price target for the day is 745. Are we going to get there? I don't know. SPY is only up 0.36. QQQ is up 1% here, so that's why I grab puts. If SPY falls, QQQ is going to fall. These should kind of offset a majority of kind of what's here. So now we're up again, still on our position. Just going with the momentum, playing with strength here. You have to understand too, you can take profits here at any time. My spread right here, I'm up $700 on my spread. Okay. So what happens when you break down? Well, it's not going to be looking good for our spread, so that's why you have to adapt. We're not completely out of the woods. Looking for stocks to kind of lead the charge here. Kind of have that continued push up here, and then I want to see the follow through with the NASDAQ here. Look at that big engulfing candle here. So remember, arm extension kind of up. Want to keep pushing here. Getting some rejection here on the NASDAQ here. Don't like that. Don't want to really add to my puts here yet. Want to kind of let them do their thing here. So we got a rejection here on SPY, not great. Again, don't want to add just yet. It's a little bit hard too. Some people don't understand when I'm on stream. Very difficult to kind of hop back and forth and talk about things. So, but that's what you need to do in order to be like, I think, kind of well informed here. Looking for a cup close here. So I really do want 743.86. I really do want to retest that, the bare bones minimum. You don't have to. You're still barcoding here. But if you can get past here at cup close, maybe we wick up above here, and I can sell just a bit of these contracts and trim a bit. NASDAQ is kind of just not moving at all. You do have a morning star right here. You still have that 55 institutional again on a 1,000 tick time frame here. Then you have SOXO just looking to break out here. May not though. Almost got that cup close. Maybe that was our cup close here, which makes sense. You have a falling 3 that's bearish here. Looking to maybe trim some of these if you can't break past this level here. So again, fingers on the sell trigger. I'm ready if I need to be, but I'm also ready to kind of cash out on these positions here if we can actually get that move up here. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm paying attention to. QQQ looks like a bull flag here. You see that? Looks like a bull flag down here, up, kind of flagging here. Really want to see some conviction to the upside here. Notice how I don't have gamma, don't have any of these crazy trends. I'm just using my fibs and I'm using kind of my mind and what I'm seeing in front of my eyes, I guess. Looks like you're going to come down here. So instead of trimming those, maybe I'll just grab like 5 more of these puts here. We'll just see. So I'm going to grab 5 of these QQQ puts here. So I have 10. I have 10 times 3, that's 3. So I have 3,000 and kind of 4,000 in calls. So the logic there, It's just being mindful of what I see in front of me here. Again, I'd rather be protected. I'd rather cut these for like minus 2,000 because these are going to be up obviously a lot more. So sometimes that's how you have to play. You have this bull flag breaking out here. Gonna add and size into this one here. And again, the problem with SPY is it just doesn't move at all. So now you're seeing that fall through with SPY. We're down 390 in these puts here. Instead of cutting them all completely, I'm just going to continue to add to them. You are under your cup close. This is your second rejection here within your inverse head and shoulders here. So I have 22 times 20. I'm not going to do the math there, but 20 times 2, that's 40. So that, yeah, it's 4,000. So 4,000 and 3,000 here. So we're going to let these play out here. At a certain point, if these go back to 0, both of them, like this, if this is negative whatever and this is like 0, you do need to cut them. That's just the proper thing to kind of do. And you see QQQ pushing up here, which is lovely here. That's what I want to see. Soxos continue to push up here. Now we're getting that fall through on SPY. Gonna size in more to these here, just a bit more. Wonder if QQQ can bit of a divergence here. Is that a 50% line? So we rejected our 50% line here on SPY. Not great here. So we rejected our 50% line. So that's a rejection here. Bearish until we reclaim 743.69 here. I'll be right back. So back here, positions seem to be doing well. Sometimes just kind of walking away for a minute kind of helps you not make bad decisions. So maybe practice that sometimes. But here we're up on this position here. So not really anything that's changed in my opinion. The spread's still the same, up about like 700. I'm gonna obviously need this continuation to just be bullish, you know. So trying to get that push up here. It's what we want. We got that arm up here as well, the arm extension here. You see Sox will continue to push up here as well. Bull flags do what? They go up. Obviously, we look to see if we can protect our positions in case if it came down here. That's why we have these puts here. So up, instead of 700, up about like 800-ish, 500 minus 600. So up about 1,000 now on the same position here. Calls are deep in the money. What did I tell you? 745 was my end of day target here. So we're very close to it here. Very close to hitting this target here. There we go. Up 1,100. So gonna go ahead and up close to 2,000 here. There we go, up now 2,000 here, excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and just trim like 11 of these contracts here. Gonna close out those QQQ puts there. Have about 11 times 300. It's like 3,000 there, so a little bit oversized here. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim majority of these here. So a lot of people have issues just trimming contracts. I'm like, why? just trim them, dude. Take the money, right? So we trimmed those contracts here. We're gonna go back to our history. Let's just close it out. Maybe let's just look for a new trade here, so that way we can focus on other things, showing you that there's stuff kind of everywhere for you to get. You have a morning star here. You can collapse here. Here's a control bar here. I don't like that at all. This looks like a control bar here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just I think I'm gonna close this out here. Just waiting here. This looks bearish. I'm gonna close it right here. So just locked in our profits here. So kind of a recap for today so far would be, and close it out. Looks like maybe at a good level. You can obviously just gap back up here. That's awesome. Looks like you had a 520 EMA cross here. That would have been your good sign as well. That would have been a sign, rather. So it looked like that was a good exit right here. Going back to our history from today. So history from today was we made 6,000 on SPY calls and we lost about 2,000. We lost about 3,000 on our hedge. We made about 3,000. So we made 3,000 on our hedge. So that's how that works. So about, yeah, within what, an hour, you did a hedge properly, and then this is what you get here. As SPY continues to go up here, SPY is still super cheap. What I'll end up doing here is sometimes how I like to scalp is like, right, I think SPY is going to hit 745. What just happened here? Right, so I can go ahead and here and just look at 745 contracts. It moves so slow here, so I might want to wait till it gets closer to that. But I want to be clear, no more trade should be taken for the rest of the day, okay? Because in the past hour, we should have all been up pretty well, okay? So anything after this should just be educational purposes at the expense of my own account, to show you how to manage positions, to show you the do's and the don'ts, and basically how to be a profitable trader. You see kind of breakthrough here on Soxel here. Maybe we see this breakthrough here on SPY. So we're gonna go ahead and here and log in with 50 contracts here. So I'm just looking here. See if we're gonna break out actually. Okay, looks like we're gonna break out possibly here. So gonna prematurely enter into a trade. We're down 100 bucks. This is about $5,000 worth of calls here, right? And this is how you're gonna manage the trade here. You have a pretty nice bullish breakout. This looks like a possible bottom here. My target's 745 here. We're down about 250 here on this position here. What is Soxel doing breaking out? What is the Nasdaq doing? Kind of barcoding, kind of just looking to consolidate probably. What I'll do here to hedge this again is if this just starts to go further negative and we're not seeing it break through here, then I will probably grab some QQQ puts just to hedge. These are up $50. One of the best trading tips to tell people is if you're up $50, like people forget with $5,000, you can scalp 50 bucks literally in seconds every day. But people don't like have the balls or huevos, right, to kind of just buy the contract. So you not buying the contract, now you're down. Now you not buying the contract. Now you're gonna enter later, which means you're gonna be down like 150 like me, when you should have entered like in an hour ago when I said enter spy calls, right? Getting some weak breakout momentum from SOC. So QQQ's just lagging here. So looking for some fall through for QQQ. You do have, looks like a breakout here. Looking to see if you can get that from SPY as well. There we go. So these contracts are up here again, 50 bucks. You could have scalped 50 bucks right there again. Okay. Breaking down here, don't like it. So gonna grab here some QQQ puts just to hedge again. QQQ is at what? QQQ is at 732. I have about 50 contract, that's $5 grand roughly. So looking at 732 puts, need to have something that makes sense actually. So 732 puts here. I'll do 733. So looking for a hedge here, 10 times 5, that's about $5 grand there. Oh, I guess I don't need to get it. Okay, cool. So sometimes they just make it easier for you. So I'm looking for contracts here, and now we're just pushing up here, okay? So here's a pro trading tip here. Trim. Gonna wait. Keep pushing. Trim. So 745 was my price target. We called it out 741 point something, and we're gonna hit it in less than what? It's a little bit over an hour. So looking for that 745 push to put these puppies in the money. It doesn't mean we have to go in the money. We could just reject here. Okay. And price target hit. Okay, awesome. On the mark. Perfect. So these just went in the money here. Gonna try to trim, be a little bit greedy here. Gonna trim 12 more here. And the money. And now this is just free money. Gonna trim some more here. Got 7 contracts left, so I only have $700-ish left. And let's look at our history from the day. So SPY contracts, we have open. Okay. Wow, look at that, guys. Wow. Wow.